This is TV's dad, Kaiju After Hours. I'm here on location in Guelph, Ontario at Black Fawn Films. We're going to be interviewing Chad Archibald and Martin Buzura. Gentlemen, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for coming.
Nice to see you.
Okay. You gentlemen are known primarily for making independent, I would say, horror films. Or do you want to call them psychological thrillers, or stay with horror?
We're good with horror. We like horror.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you formed, and how you came together. You know, the general early story, the early days.
We actually started out, our producer, the story between me and Martin meeting each other was one of our producers went to a bank, and because he's Hungarian, he just by fluke met another Hungarian woman who was Martin's mother, and said, yeah, if your son's interested in film, you should come out. We're shooting a movie this weekend. And then
my mom kind of spread the word, and she kind of started this whole relationship. She's behind it all.
So we were just getting ready to shoot one day. We had rented a full house. We were making Desperate Souls. It was our first movie, and we had a knock on the door, and it was Martin, and he's just like, "Hi guys, I'm here to help." This kind of little kid who was always smiling. So we started working on Desperate Souls. Once it was done, Martin went to film school. He really liked the experience. Went to film school, and after he was done film school, he came back, and he was director of photography on Kill, our second feature. And ever since then, we've been working together on all our projects.
All right. Can you tell us a little bit about Desperate Souls?
Desperate Souls, we started writing it in the winter of 2002. It was our first feature, and it was just something we were going to shoot over a weekend. And throughout support in Guelph and just a kind of small community that we're in, it kind of snowballed into this huge project. And as we were shooting it, it got bigger and bigger to the point that once we were done, we had met some people who kind of told us that, you could sell that. So we got a producer, a great lady named Irene, and she went out and she actually got us a deal with Lionsgate for U.S. and international, and Alliance Atlantis in Canada.
Okay. And then notice that you're not just doing the horror films, by the way. I notice you're also doing television work, and you're doing music videos, and some of your television work apparently gets seen all across Canada.
Yep, we did. We worked on a show called Creepy Canada, which is on Outdoor Life Network and Discovery Network, and it was the third season, and yeah, we got to go right across Canada, and it was an amazing experience, and it was kind of still in the horror genre. It was like kind of ghost stories and things like that, so we've done that, and I mean a bunch of music videos. We did a lot of bands. We started out with just some local bands, and now we've had bands from the U.S., from all over Canada, kind of Vancouver, Quebec, everywhere, kind of coming and meeting us, and yeah, we're just doing a bunch of music videos.
Yeah, bands are good that way because they go off on tour and tell all the other bands, and then they kind of spread the word for you.
Okay. So mostly heavy metal type of, or what genre would you say?
Yeah, mostly heavy metal, like hardcore music, but we actually had a couple of bands there, softer. There's a band called For the Mathematics from Ottawa, and they're kind of, I'm not really sure what kind of genre you'd consider it, but it's like rock, pop rock.
We do we work with a label here in Guelph called Year of the Sun Records, and we met them early on in Desperate Souls days, and we started doing their videos, so any band that actually comes to them gets a kind of, we work together on a video and stuff like that, so it's good. We kind of had like enough relations through music videos and that stuff that it actually pays enough that we can kind of support ourselves and keep making movies.
See, you can tell how old I am, by the way, because I sat there and thought, do they call it heavy metal anymore, or grunge? Is that even still in? So yeah, I'm getting up there in age, and like, what do you kids listen to? So, going back to the Creepy Canada thing. You were telling a story before we started recording, and I'm going to ask that question again, if you don't mind. You, basically, Creepy Canada is a show about reenactments of either occult or UFO or any kind of unusual events across Canada. And I asked the question earlier, are these things actually real? Do you ever experience anything on site? Because you watch the TV shows and you see these interesting, cool reenactment things, and you wonder, what happens when you actually go there? So, Chad, you told me that there was actually an incident that did kind of affect you.
Yeah, there was actually, of all the places that we went to, we'd always have ghost hunters on set and everything, and they'd always go through and kind of investigate and see if they can pick up anything. And a lot of the time, it's kind of a far reach to they're grasping at whatever they can. But this one place, that was actually in Hamilton, right close to us right now. In the upstairs of it, there was this huge mantelpiece where a woman was said to be seen like a ghost brushing her hair in the evenings. So we were up there with a ghost hunter team, and they were saying, give us a sign or whatever. And they were kind of like, no, we're all standing around this mantelpiece, and we're all filming, and all of a sudden the huge top piece of the mantle just fell off. Like, we never even knew it was like, separate pieces or whatever, but it's supposed to be glued on. It falls off and just smashes her in the head. It was like right on camera, and as soon as that stopped, there was like pounding all through the building, which usually I would be like, it's pipes, it's whatever, but all this stuff happened, and it was actually really, really scary. We went down into the basement of the same place, and a woman who was one of the clairvoyant women, she walked in a room and instantly like just lost it. She was so upset. She like went and ran off set, and I was still on set, and I could hear her through the lav mic because she still had it pinned onto her shirt. And she went outside and she was talking to her husband, and she was so upset. She said she saw this little boy who had been murdered there in this bathtub, and like they were getting rid of the body in this bathtub, and she was like just horribly upset. But yeah, like, I mean, that place for sure, I was terrified. I was dying to get out.
So stay away from Hamilton. Just kidding. To our friends in Canada, I apologize. All right. So moving on forward, then you've also done comedy bits for television. I've seen on what you can see on the website under our video showcase section. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
We did a show called Send Help. It was a pilot, and I believe they got picked up. I'm not going to say any names because I'm not totally exactly sure the actual people who did pick it up. But I think it's in production right now to get made. We also did a movie called Real Choices, which is one of the newer ones that we've done, and it's kind of a create-your-own-adventure movie. So you follow the main character to a point where he has to make a decision, and a menu will come up, and you make the decision for him, and it branches off, so you can kind of watch the movie the way you want to watch it, which was we thought was a really cool idea. But when you actually make it, it's very, very difficult and complicated. So it should be interesting to get done. And we also did a short just last weekend. Actually, we shot it called Speed Dating. It's just a short film we made with another filmmaker in Guelph from 4772 Productions. His name's Jay Justin. He's helped us out on a pile of stuff. But
we also did a short called Elliot. It's a little drama, sci-fi, and we just entered it to a couple of festivals, waiting to hear back from them. And it's our little baby project. It was the first time we actually kind of went away from horror and tried drama, and it was really fun. We're really satisfied with the final product. It's not 100% done. There's still a couple of shots that need to be filmed, but it's 95% complete.
Okay. So what do you want to do in the future? Do you want to just stay with the horror as a role, or is there an area you want to go into that you think horror might be a good stepping stone towards?
There's a couple of more horror projects. Chad's writing a script right now. It's a feature, but eventually we would like to try other things, definitely.
yeah, I think this next horror project will be like a kind of big, huge kabam that we want to do, and then after that's done, we're gonna kind of branch off into some other things.
Go out with a bang.